First step here, you see this garlic crushed up some. I'm going to put it in the mortar with a handful, a couple teaspoons of coarse salt. Now, one of the things you have to consider what your final application for this duck is going to be. If I was simply making confit duck to be used with as a game dish with cherry sauce or something, I would add juniper berries, thyme, herbs. But in this case, I'm actually going to be using this duck for a variety of recipes. So I have to keep the flavors here kind of neutral in the duck. I'm actually planning on using some of the duck meat to make a Thai curry later. So I don't want to put juniper berries and bay in it because it'll be really weird with the Thai flavors. The cooking method is just fine. But you got to control your flavors, and we try to keep it neutral if you're going to be using this for more than one application. So I'm just going to add mixture pepper, 4 mixed peppers, along with this salt and garlic, and that's all the seasoning the dry rub on the duck is going to get. And that way I can use it for just about anything. You can always add other flavors later anyway. Okay, this is good. You got a large bowl. Scrape this out into. I get the 4 mixed peppers here, and just use the same mortar and pestle. Just give these a good grind. You don't want to crack them. You don't want to turn them into a powder. And the ground should go in here with the salt and the garlic. And it's actually not enough salt in here. The salt that I used to crush the garlic is not all the coarse salt it's going to get. So add the rest in here. And it's important that this is coarse salt too. Okay, now we've got the mixture. It's going to go with the duck. Now we can turn our attention to the duck itself. And it's pretty basic, just what you'd think. You've got to look at the duck. You've got some extra little flaps of fat here you can get rid of. Only trim off what you absolutely have to. The thing is, we don't get the super giant, beautiful duck legs that you see sometimes. However, you can eat your heart out because although we don't get giant ones, we get smaller ones like this. These cost in the store about $1 each, which is a pretty good price for duck. And then, as you would expect, this just gets put in the bowl with the seasonings, and this has to get applied to all the duck as best as possible. It will take some time, really rub it in, really massage it, and then it's just going to get covered with some cling film and left in the refrigerator at least overnight. You can leave this for more time. Some people say you need to leave it for 2 days. This is really excessive. Certainly you need to leave it overnight though. It's going to take a few minutes. I'm actually going to spend. This is one of the steps that people don't spend enough time doing. This flavor is not going to get onto the duck by itself. It really needs to be pressed and rubbed into the duck. So spend 2-3 minutes even making sure that the duck's really been coated with this before you walk away from it. Okay, we have the duck. It's been left here for close to 24 hours now, and I'm going to hold it up over a sink. Use a brush, just knock off all the extra bits of the salt and pepper off of it, just to get rid of it. You don't have to be anal about it, but you need to get rid of as much of it as you can. I'm just going to repeat this with each duck quarter. Simple process. And then it's going to go from here, it's going to go into the dish that it is going to confit in. It's going to cook in fat. And you see also the bowl that that it sat in overnight. It's got a lot of liquid. That's what we wanted to get rid of. We wanted to help dry out the duck, concentrate the flavor. That's the process. Okay, now this is the jar of duck fat that I continue to recycle for confit. I've been using this particular jar now for about 5 years, and I make confit on a fairly regular basis, and that's really the best of the best because it's got all the flavors from all the previous batches of duck are in here, along with your new duck that you're cooking. So it's better than just duck fat. It's duck flavored duck fat. This is enough to cover it. It's going to go in the oven and begin cooking with the lid on, of course. And then after about 3 hours, remove it. Now traditionally you leave this in the fat in order to store it and preserve it. That's what the original confit duck was for. It was a way to preserve duck for the rest of the year, and you just leave it stored in the fat. But in most, realistically, in most applications these days, we're just going to remove the duck to a container. We're going to store the fat. The fat we're going to use another time, filter it, get rid of any solids in it, and the duck will be just kept cold. And here we have the duck that's been pulled out of this. I'm just going to put a lid on this and store this in the refrigerator. And as for the fat, it needs to be strained and put back into the container with the duck fat for the next time we make confit duck. Also look for my cocktail book, Cocktails of the South Pacific and Beyond, Advanced Mixology, available through Amazon online.